What's going on, everyone? So this NBA offseason is going to be very interesting to see what does Denver do. Do they retool, kind of just upgrade, maybe trade like a Michael Porter Jr. or something, get some key areas, right? Maybe upgrade the bench, get like a backup big, couple things, right? Couple key things. Or do they go full-fledged rebuild, right? There's the rebuild where you basically sell everybody, including Jokic, and then there's a rebuild where you sell everybody but Jokic, and you kind of just like, hey, give us a year, buddy, and we'll revamp this roster, right? It's multiple fronts. Whatever direction they go, whether it's full rebuild or like, half rebuild or just like a retooling where you're keeping kind of most key guys, I think, it's just my opinion, right? That's why I always want to know yours, so let me know yours down in the comments. But I think you need to trade Jamal Murray. And I've talked about this. I talked about this months ago. Right? Talked about this when they gave him that new extension. And I was like, I don't think they should have done that. Jamal Murray is a great player, but he's not so great, so good that you can't replace him. There is probably 50 guys in the league that maybe not as good as Jamal Murray, but can give you a lot of what he does and won't cost you $40 million. Jamal Murray can't stay healthy for one. He's not this great defensive player, right? He can be inconsistent on the offensive side of things, right? Don't get me wrong. When he's on and he's cooking, guy go get you a 50 piece, right? But I think you can get multiple guys that can come in and do a lot of the same things. I think there's a lot of just like random role guys you're not thinking about that could probably come in and do those things, right? Like, and I don't know if Jamal Murray is ever going to get back. He can't stay healthy. He can't stay on the basketball court. He has his inconsistencies. He's always had his inconsistencies outside of a couple stretches, a couple seasons, right? And I don't think you're going to be able to reignite that fire and kind of get what he was in that finals run, which still wasn't that. Outside of that Lakers series, Jamal Murray wasn't like, oh my God, great. He was their closer down the stretch, hit the big shots, stuff like that. Like, to his credit, like, I don't want to make it sound like he was just the scrub the whole time. He was very good, right? But I get it. Like, you look at some of these runs. Steph Curry with Andrew Wiggins. Is anybody like, man, Andrew Wiggins was so good? No, in that run, he was great. I mean, he was so good, there was a genuine argument for him to win Finals MVP. But no one looks at Andrew Wiggins and goes like, man, Warriors were foolish for trade. Like, why do they want to trade him, right? The Giannis, right? Winning with Drew Holiday, who they traded, and, Chris Middleton, who, they traded, right? Like, neither of those guys, although I thought that they should have kept Drew Holiday, especially after they got Dame, but Chris Middleton in particular, because he was like their second guy, nobody's like, man, that guy's so good. Like, what were they thinking? Like, everyone's like, yeah, it's time to trade him. Right? Like, you have these teams and these runs where, it's like would Jokic just still won if, you had, an Austin Reeves instead of a Jamal Murray during that run? Because Austin Reeves was killing it in that postseason. Probably. Right? Sometimes it's just their year. Sometimes guys are just so good. I mean, and it wasn't even just Jamal Murray. Michael Porter Jr. was fantastic. Aaron Gordon was fantastic. Like, Bruce Brown was fantastic for him. Jeff Green, like all these guys, right? Like, could they have won with, a Jordan Clarkson? Right? If Jordan Clarkson was able to give them 20 a night, right? Playing alongside Jokic, right? Maybe, or like a Darius Garland or something like that, right? Kind of give you the speed and the ball handling and the things that you get from Jamal Murray. Maybe not to as good of a level, but like, would you have still have won with, one of those guys? Probably. Right? Like, would you have won with the Donovan Mitchell? Probably. I think, in my opinion, would you have won with the Dame? Probably. I just think that I think you could probably name, they said probably 30 to 50 players that you could have made an argument that year they could have won a championship with. Right? That they could have ran. Again, their toughest matchup was Phoenix. They won them 2 games, and it took Devin Booker shooting a historic all-time great, like 78% from the floor, for them just to get ran through in 6. It just, again, like, sometimes it's just their year. And again, Michael Porter or Jamal Murray was very valuable in that part, but I don't think one, I don't think that Jamal Murray exists anymore. Two, I don't think he can stay healthy. Three, I don't think he's so vital and necessary and I think that there is a team or two out there that would take the bait. I don't think you're going to get a huge return for him. I don't think you're going to have a lineup of teams. Like every team in the league is going to be looking to go and add themselves to Jamal Murray. But I do think that there is at least a handful of teams that would probably go, oh man, Jamal Murray might be nice, right? And every team thinks that they can do better. Right? Every team thinks that hey man, his injury issues, man, it's Denver, right? It's Denver's organization, or it's the elevation or whatever, right? Like you talk yourself into 15 reasons as to why it isn't what it really is, right? Like, so again, there's always a buyer out there. Phoenix was foolish enough to take on Bradley Beal, right? The team will take on Jamal Murray and his money and all that stuff. It's just, again, I don't want them to give Jamal away unless the team is just willing to absorb his salary. But I don't want to see them just give him away, right? Because at that point, you're better off just keeping him and kind of figuring it out. But I do think that they should kind of look to, hey, maybe, we see what we can get. Can we turn him into another star or maybe a couple role guys and then kind of maybe find that other guy? I think that there's a path to kind of retool this, but I think it will take Jamal Murray as a sort of casualty. But I also think that might be best for Denver. Like, in all honesty, I think that there is a genuine argument to be made that, like, Denver's probably in their best interest, and probably because I don't think what Jamal Murray brings to that team is so, like, he's the only guy that can do it, right? I think that there are a lot of guys that can do that because Jokic is going to make them better, for one. Two, there's a lot of guys that, like, again, Jamal Murray's not this like clamps, lockdown defensive guy where it's like, man, but you really need his defense, right? Like, no, like, again, I think you need his play. You need a playmaker. You need somebody that can be a secondary playmaker. You need somebody that can score the basketball so Jokic doesn't have to do that. Somebody that can self-create. Create for themselves, create for others. A lot of guys in the league that can do that. A lot of guys. And I think that there's a version of this team where you don't have Jamal Murray and you still win a championship, right? But that's my thoughts and opinions. And as always, I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? Do you agree? Disagree? You kind of mixed in the middle? Do you think, like, yes, absolutely trade Jamal Murray ASAP? Do you think, no, you got to keep Jamal Murray? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it either way, so let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. I enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.